We got action. Friday night, Auburn, Baylor, McLean Stadium on the banks of the Brazos. This one's going to be awesome. I love that we get some weeknight college football to get things rolling for week one. This is a massive game for both sides. We'll have a full preview and prediction for you in this game on our full show on Tuesday. All right, so if you have not yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, it's college football year-round on this show, The Hard Count. If you are subscribed as an Auburn fan or a Baylor fan, you will get that prediction. If you're not, leave it up to chance. Not really the way you want to go about doing things, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us. We appreciate you in advance for getting that done. But before we get to our prediction later in the week, let's just talk some ball, you and me, and talk a little bit about what we're thinking heading into this game. First thought I'm having when we talk about Auburn going to Baylor, what's up with Jackson Arnold? Because there's been a lot of talk around the mental side for him and where is his confidence at after coming over from Oklahoma, where he was very publicly benched and the year didn't go how he wanted it to go. We talked about the story arc ad nauseum here, and I would not be shocked in the slightest if Jackson Arnold turns over a new leaf. That first scripted drive, he's out there dealing, gets to Cam Coleman, to Eric Singleton. He's working the field. It's a good drive. Auburn scores 7-0. Who is Jackson Arnold, though, when the first bad thing happens? Could be a strip sack, could be he throws a pick, could be he just has a bad series. I don't know what it looks like, but how he deals with that adversity, to me, is going to tell me a lot about the staying power he has, and this Auburn offense has, quite frankly, especially in this spot. Because I don't pretend to know exactly where Jackson Arnold is from a confidence perspective, but I got to think just a little bit, just like any muscle, your confidence is something that if you get it torn in half, it's going to take a second to totally get that back as strong as you need it to be. So when you for example, tear a muscle in your leg, once that thing has a tough hit to it or you plant funny on it, there's more of a possibility for it to tear once again if you haven't rehabbed it properly. So with that being the context we're working with here with Jackson Arnold, that's going to tell us a lot about, again, just the game flow of this whole thing of Jackson Arnold throws a pick and then it's, starting to have flashes of Tennessee, Oklahoma a year ago. Confidence starts to teeter. And then if Auburn gets in that situation on the road against this Baylor football team, I don't love that setup for Auburn in this spot. Now, for Baylor, I think their whole thought going into this game is winning the early downs. The buzz out of fall camp for Auburn is they want to be a little bit more RPO-centric, less drop-back pass. They watched what happened last year. They watched what they were successful with last year. They went back into some introspection into what Hugh Freeze has been successful with. They want to put defenses in a bind with that run-pass option kind of offense. When they were dropping back last year, they were not very good. They weren't very good. So for Baylor, if you want to force them into drop-back passing situations, how do you do that? Win on first and second down. Just make it a clear case for the Auburn offense like, hey, if you want to win this game, it's not going to be through the air. It's going to have to be a thing where, it's not going to be on the ground. Going to have to be through the air, which I think Auburn's actually okay with doing. But if that's your only go-to and you're only able to drop back and throw the football, I think that favors Baylor the further we go in this thing. So the other part I want to make sure we mention here in the context of just thinking about this game ahead of week one and ahead of, I guess, the game on Friday night, I do think there is probably a matter of time before Auburn finds their rhythm offensively, whether that's in the first quarter, whether it's in the fourth quarter, I don't know. But I have a hard time believing that the Auburn offense stays down for the entirety of 4 quarters with how talented they are, with it being another year under Hugh Freeze, with the upgrade they should have ability-wise at quarterback in Jackson Arnold. I don't love the idea, if I'm Baylor, of trying to go win a rock fight. It could happen. It's college football. Anything could happen. But I think if you're Baylor, you have to also have the ability to have some quick strike to you. These guys in the perimeter for Baylor at the receiver position have got to show up big time. I don't question Sawyer Robertson at quarterback. I don't really even question a Josh Cameron for Baylor. But the secondary for Auburn is really, really solid. A group they're really excited about heading into this upcoming season based on what we're hearing out of fall camp. So guys like a Josh Cameron, can you separate on the perimeter? Ashton Hawkins, can you separate on the perimeter? One, it would, I think, again, apply the pressure to an Auburn to try to match your tempo. But if you don't do that, I feel like you're almost a sitting duck in this game of sorts. Because just what I said a second ago, I think Auburn at some point in time will find that extra gear. So it's sort of a matter of when, not so much if, in my mind, as it pertains to the way this whole thing could flow. Now, I also think it should be mentioned for Baylor, like, what's your ability look like to run the football? Because that Auburn front seven was really solid a year ago, very quietly. Just nationally, they were like top 25 in America when it came to yards per carry allowed. I think for Baylor, running the football, in my mind, in this game will have to be a two-man operation between Bryson Washington, your all-everything true freshman, ran for over 1,000 yards last year, one of the best backs in America, nobody talks about, and Sawyer Robertson, your quarterback. Now, Sawyer Robertson, you don't want him to carry the football like 15 or 20 times. That'd be a bit egregious. But I think just being able to offset what Bryson Washington is at that running back position would go a long way in commanding more resources from the Auburn defense to then what we just said, open up some explosives downfield. So, quite frankly, I could see this thing turning into a bit of a shootout. I could see this game happening, or not happening, but this game being won scoring in the 30s from either side. But I can't wait for it. It's going to be a good one. Going to tell us a lot about both teams early on. I think this game is probably more important for an Auburn team to win if they want to get to that 8-win mark, 9-win mark, which I think they're sort of expecting at this point under Hugh Freeze going into year 3. But going to be a big one. We'll have our full preview, game breakdown, prediction, all that on this channel on our Tuesday show. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're subscribed. But we appreciate y'all being a part of this. Caden Smith, the ones and twos, myself, Jody PicKell. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.